So yesterday we started looking into the VI editor. Okay, so VI editor is nothing but a text pad, like a notepad here. It doesn't have any graphics, anything like that. Simple as a text will be entered in here. Okay, so anything you could type on keyboard, it will be here, but there won't be any graphics, anything like that. Okay, so there is no concept of GUI when it comes to the Linux environment. Okay, so yesterday we started on the VI editor, right? So are you guys able to do those two simple things here, like opening the VI editor and then closing it, putting something in there and then closing it? So let's do something else in there. Go to VI and go into your same file, VI Linux, and then you see this is Linux. This is online Linux course and we are learning Linux. Okay, so when you are over here and if you want to add a line or delete a line, you could do all that here. So right now, the moment you enter in the VI editor, you are into the command mode. Okay, so I'm gonna put it in here to save. This is confusing, right? Okay. So the moment you are in the VI editor, you are in the command mode. Okay, how do you know you are in a command mode? Because down on the bottom you will see insert mode if you are in a edit mode. Okay, but if you're not in a edit mode, that means you are safe to say that you are in a command mode. So everybody, bring your cursor to the third line and then tap on letter D on your keyboard twice, real fast. No more than twice, okay? Because what it'll do is it will delete the line. DD. See, it deleted the line for you. Okay, so everybody should have two lines in there left. Now I want to save and exit. So it's going to be the same thing. Do shift colon and X as in Xerox. Okay, over here I showed you yesterday, hold down the shift key and push the colon, and you down on the bottom here, everything, the command you're running for the VI editor, you will see those commands getting executed on the bottom of the screen here. Okay, you have to pay attention there. Over here, it's hard to see, but over here you see that area, the colon is the place where it will be taking exit. It will be taking the commands here. Right now, after we do shift colon, we are typing X. What X does is it will save and exit for you. Okay? So let's go ahead and do save and exit. So everybody on your screen, nobody's having trouble finding that part on the bottom of the screen, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are fine.
Okay, good. Because that is where you need to pay attention, and that is where it will be useful for you to execute the commands. Okay, so let me get out of this. So I deleted one line using the dd command, and I'm going to save and exit. Okay, boom, I'm out of it. So now, since the file is so small, I could go ahead and do cat Linux, and I see only two file lines there. Line one. Okay, go ahead.
Can you go back a little back because I just missed it?
Okay, where are you right now?
This is Linux. We are learning Red Hat Linux.
Okay,
Shift colon.
and X as in Xerox, lower X.
Okay.
You are out of it?
No.
Okay, do you see insert down on the bottom of the screen?
Yeah, I see that, but it's not letting me do it. Oh, okay.
Push the escape key on the keyboard couple times.
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
Okay? Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna show you how escape is gonna work in a minute here. So
Now I have to type X, copy it, right?
when you do shift colon and X and hit the enter on the keyboard, what it will do is you will get out of it.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, good. Now do cat Linux. You should have two lines there.
Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead, Najam.
The problem is that my microphone is not getting connected properly. So since yesterday I had not been able to follow you clearly. So is there a way that I can get
Can you dial in?
back?
Can you dial in from your cell phone?
That's what I'm trying to fix it, but I don't know for some weird reason these two are not working.
No, dial in on the cell phone here. If you look on the WhatsApp group, there is a phone number you could dial in on use your cell phone and dial it in, and you will connect to this meeting. So you could hear me, and you could watch me on the screen. Okay.
I got one iPad yesterday for myself, so I can use that as well, right?
Yeah, go ahead and connect from iPad.
Okay, so I will just leave.
Okay, go to this website here. Okay, open. Go to the course website, and did you download WebEx on your iPad?
No, not yet. I'll be doing it now.
Before you directly go download WebEx, go ahead and click on this link. Go into your website, this website here, august21.zmprotech.com.
Okay.
And click on schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And in schedule, you see WebEx on the bottom here, right?
Yes.
And there is a join by phone and all that here. Click on the link here. It will prompt you to download the software or the app.
Okay.
So you must have already done logging into the iCloud and all that, because it will ask you to put in your username and ID.
So I was just using as a guest till now.
Oh, well, go ahead and see if it's going to allow you without WebEx or not, okay? Because you have to have this ready for the class, but we'll give you some time here. Let me know if you're struggling there.
Okay. So I
Yeah,
just don't want you to stop with for me. You can go ahead. I'll just listen to the recordings later on. Then and I can let me see if I could follow them. If there is any doubt, then I may contact you for that during the week.
yeah. So please use the group chat here because you've
Yeah,
seen
I know, I
last
know.
week people are using group chat and then helping each other out. This is exactly
Yes.
what you do here.
Okay.
Last
Okay.
night, I was on the job call, until 4 in the morning because there was some
I totally
emergency issue
understand.
at my work,
Yes.
and we all do coordination. We don't have to be shy about not knowing stuff here, right? We talk about silly stuff, not knowing. Even at we are
Yes.
doing this as professionally for like
Yes.
15, 20 years. The thing is, you just have to ask for it, and you'll get the answer.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Najam. So we'll help you out. Everybody's here to help. We have Mirza Koman and some of the other guys. They're already into a bit of IT. They'll help you furthermore. Okay. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So moving along. Okay. So when you do cat, everybody should have only 2 lines in there. So I'm gonna start putting in here commonly used commands. Very first one we use is dd. This deletes the line. Okay. How should I do that? Okay, let me do it this way. I'm gonna put a date here. Okay. So dd deletes the line. Okay. And then we went out in there, and then we did a cat command. Cat command, what it does, it reads the file. Okay.
See, phone ka charger.
Okay. Now, okay, let's go back into the file again. Vi Linux, and we have 2 lines in here, right? So what you might want to do is, I want to put a line between those 2 lines. So I'll highlight whichever line you want it on. Below that line, you push letter O as in Orlando. And down on the bottom, what will happen is it will open, it will go into the insert mode. At the same time, it will open a new line there. Okay, so I'm going really nice and slow so that, because you will be using this a lot. There is no day in my job I'm not using it. So what happens is, if you see on the bottom here, it will go into the insert mode. Insert mode, or I'll call it a simple edit mode. Okay. and it opens up a line. It always opens a new line below the cursor. Okay. All right. So let me save this here. So letter O. I'm going to say O here. This thing deletes the file. Okay, so O what O does is it opens up a line here. So let me just paste this here. What I'll do is might as well I put it separately here, okay? O is opens up the new line in insert mode. So now that it opened a new line for us, now we could put some thing in that line here, okay? So I'm gonna say learning Linux is fun, okay? I put that line in there and then I get out of this, okay? And I'm gonna save and exit. Same thing, Shift:X. And when you hit enter, you will get out of that. And when you do cat Linux, you see that line has been saved and then you see that line in there. So by now you should have 3 lines in there. Okay, so now now what I want to do is I want to go back in there and hit enter, and I go into the last line I'm gonna say O again, and then I'm gonna save that. Say something here. This is a wrong line, and I hit escape. Okay, so all of a sudden you realized, oh, I made a mistake. No matter what kind of mistake you made, you said, oh, I made a mistake, and I don't want to save this. So what you do is you push the escape key, shift colon. This time you do Q as in queen and an exclamation. The exclamation key is on your number 1 key, so you have to hold the shift key and bring that on. Okay, this is your exclamation key. So it should look exactly the way you see on my screen here, okay? If you focus here, okay, you have Q, you have shift, colon, Q and I, not I, exclamation. What this will is telling you is, telling the system is, quit without saving. Okay? So let me get,
So what about like if we put like query only?
I'll show you that. That is when you do only Q, that you're doing only when you just came in and left without doing anything. I'll show you next.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, go
For
ahead.
me, yeah, it's showing me space between learning Linux is fun, and there's a space between it, and then again it's saying we are learning Red Hat Linux.
Okay. After there,
So
on the
how to
bottom,
clear
add
that
another
space?
line. Add another line. This is wrong line. Add something like that.
Yeah, I get that.
So you have 4 lines.
It's not letting me.
Okay. On the last line, push O as in
Yeah, I got
Orlando.
it. Yeah,
And now you are in insert mode. And at the same time, you could type in something. Type something in that line.
yeah, I did. Hold on, I will show you.
By the way, today is a India Day. Anybody from India here today?
Everyone is from.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah.
Okay, so
Happy India
basically,
Day.
Yeah,
happy.
thank you.
Happy Independence Day, my fellow Indians.
Yeah.
I just put it in the WhatsApp group.
Okay, let me take a look. It's a smart move. WhatsApp group. Okay. Okay, you're good. Don't worry about the extra line in there, okay? You have an extra line between the learning, after learning,
Yeah,
learning Linux is fun. Okay, that's fine. Okay, hit the escape key and do shift colon and Q right here. But you're doing it on the bottom line, bottom left. Okay?
yeah, I got it.
So when you do shift colon Q and hit enter, what happened? You quit without saving anything. Even though you went in there, you moved around, you did some changes, but you realized, oh, I should not have made any changes, okay? That's when you do shift colon Q. So it's called, usually we call it quit without saving. Over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a note here, ESC. When you push escape key, right, ESC, so this will exit edit mode. This will exit edit mode and put you in command mode. Okay, escape. Okay, good. Over here, I should have said here lowercase I to enter into edit mode. Okay. Okay, so we are into first thing, you go in there, you put I, and then you went into edit mode, and then all these modes are here. Okay, so if you want to get out of this, escape, it will put you back into the command mode here. In fact, I should have moved this up here. That should have been over here. Good. So DD deletes the line where the cursor is located. O is opens up a new line in insert mode. And this is everything is lowercase so far, okay? And escape. Okay, so I'll leave the escape here. Okay, so you'll stay there. And okay, so let's go in there. Let's get into the Linux, VI Linux. Okay, and in here now you just went in there, but you didn't do any changes. Okay, if you just went inside the file, and if you just looked inside it, what's in there, but you're not making any changes, you know that you didn't make any changes, what you do is make sure you just push the escape key a couple times and then :Q. Okay, it will automatically quit because the system remembers that you have not made any changes and is going to quit. When you use Q, it will quit out of the file. Lowercase q quits the file when no changes were made. And if you think, oh, it's telling you, oh, you want to, it will give you a message there. So you just, all you do is add an exclamation and then you quit without saving changes. And Q exclamation Q exclamation, it says you quit quits without saving changes if you have made any changes. Okay, if you made any changes but you realize you don't want to, you want to quit it without saving changes, so if you have the correct term is if you have edited the file. Okay, so good idea is if you have edited the file but you want to discard it, quit. So I'll put it in here, discards changes. So if you came in here and you put 100 lines in there and you realize you don't want to save it, it will discard the changes here. Okay, that's much better. So we already saw quit and quit colon, it will quit discarding changes here. Okay, so now, oops, I don't like that. Oh. Okay, all right, good. And up here, I'll put here shift colon here. Okay, here when this is just a colon, and this is just a colon here. Why is this? When you see just a colon there, I said this is ready for command. Okay, so now let's make me clear here. When you have a colon here, now the command is X is a command to save and exit. Okay, dd is a command to delete a line, o is a command to open up the new line in insert mode. Okay, open up new line in insert mode. Okay, escape, you escape out of it. Q, you went inside the file but you know you didn't make any changes, so you quit it. Or you could say Q exclamation, then that will make sure you quit without saving any changes. Okay, all right, good. So now let's go back in there. I'm gonna go VI Linux. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this middle line here. So wherever the cursor is on the middle line, push YY only, YY twice. YY. Okay, so what it did is it copied that line. And if you want to paste it somewhere else, like I want to paste it below this line here, do P as in puppy. So that line, learning Linux is fun, is copied when you do YY on it.
For me, it's showing nothing is registered.
No, just do YY and then go down like all the way to the last line using the arrow down and push P as in puppy on the keyboard. It will paste that there. Did you get it?
You said PP?
Just only
Or
once
P.
P. Only once.
And then no, nothing is coming up.
Okay. Go to the middle line and push YY twice, real fast. Don't push it many times, just push it twice, no more than 2 times.
Yeah.
Okay, so it copied there.
Yeah,
You
no.
won't see it, it
Yeah,
won't tell
no.
you. And
Yeah,
go
it
down somewhere and push P as in puppy.
Yeah, it came.
Okay?
But for me, like in the end, it's showing you Linux 3L65C, right? But for me, it's not showing me anything.
No,
It's just blank.
don't worry about it. What it may or may not show on your system. Okay.
Okay.
But you have you got the idea how to copy the line, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's still copied. If you push P again, it will copy down another line. Put P again. It's keep pasting it. Okay. And then I paste it 3 times, right? But I want to do U. It undo the paste. U again, it undo the edit actually. So YY copies the line wherever the cursor is. Okay, and P what does P does is paste below the line, pastes below the cursor wherever that cursor may be. I'm gonna put this all in same line here. Okay, good. Okay, and U, what U does is it undo your last action. U is undo your last action. Okay, so you see I'm pasting so many times P, and I'm doing U undo so many times here. Okay, I undo the last action for you. Okay, so if you want to do one last action, you do only once. If you keep going, you have to keep pushing U until you are happy with what you have seen on the screen. And Shift:X, then you will save and exit out of it.
I'm not able to get to the bottom line, the where you have the insert thing and put the Shift:X.
On the top, in the bottom here,
Yes.
yeah, push escape once and do
Okay.
Shift:, then you will see the colon on the bottom.
Did escape once?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then do Shift and colon. You'll see a colon appear on the bottom left of
Yes.
the. Okay, then based on whatever you want to do, you want to save and exit, just push X and hit enter.
Okay. Got it.
You want to do cat, Linux, and you could see you have 4 lines in there. Cat is a quick and easy way to read what's inside the line. Okay, so now let me go back in there again, Linux. And I want to say on this line here, I want to move around arrows and all this here, right? But I want to delete this line here. I want to delete only learning. So most of the time, what you should do is on your keyboard, just push X here. So it will delete one letter. Do it slowly. Position your cursor on this line here, and then wherever that learning is, push X. I'm pushing X slowly so you could see it is deleting one letter at a time. And if I do U on the keyboard, it will bring that line back. U. I'm pushing U so many times. Okay, go ahead and push X so that do it slowly. Okay, don't press and hold it down. If you press and hold it down, it's gonna start deleting at a fast pace. And then it says Linux is fun here. Okay, so I'm gonna save and exit. So I'm gonna put down here only X. Deletes the letter wherever cursor is there. So if the cursor is in the middle of a line, it will start deleting from there. Okay, so let's try that. Go back into Linux again and see if I want to delete this here. So I want to delete this learning, or I want to delete this Linux here. Okay, so what I do is I push X, 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 X. So only thing I'm doing now is I'm demonstrating here that wherever that cursor is and I push letter X, that letter is going to get deleted. Okay, so you got to remember that. It's pretty straightforward and pretty simple. There's nothing too much you need to understand in this. Okay, so go back in there, and I want to search a word inside here. I want to search a word, okay, inside here, inside the document, inside this file. I want to search a word. It's called pattern. Actually, it's called searching a pattern, but I'm going to tell you that I'm searching for a word here. So I want to search for the word fun. Okay, so I'm going to go shift colon and a forward slash, and then I'm going to type fun in there, F-U-N. Okay, anybody has issues, let me know. So this is where you are. Concentrate here in this part. So for that you type okay, let me come out of this. So this area, you have two dots, and then when you type a forward slash, and then you type fun there, you're looking for that matching pattern, F-U-N, okay? And I'm going to get out of this. And then I'll hit enter. What it does is it shows you the fun is highlighted here. And it went through the entire line here. So very first, also it highlights the first letter of the line, and it says this is where it's in. This line has fun, and if you push N on as a, okay, so is the color changing? Okay, I'm not sure if you could see it clearly, but when you do N as in Nancy on the keyboard, it will jump between the searches. Let me see if I could change the background here. Actually don't worry about that, what I'm showing here. So as long as you got the idea here that so Linux, this is Linux, and then when you type in here, let's search for something else. In here I'm going to type Red Hat and hit enter. So it found Red Hat on this line here. It found Red Hat only once. I'm going to type Linux this time and see how many times it's going to find. /Linux. Okay, so it found Linux. Actually, it tells you on the bottom of your line here, it found Linux 4 times. Linux, yeah. Search hit the bottom, continue at the top. So it found Linux how many times? So it hit the bottom here. No, so the Linux is on the line 1, line 2, and line 4. That's what it's saying here. And let me see, let me count just something here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So down on the bottom here, it says on the line 4, Linux is starting as a 10th character. Don't go into all these details here. So line 1, line 1, it's on the 9th character. Line 2 is first characters. Line 4, okay. But don't worry about all that here. All you have to worry about is when you type a slash and the pattern. Searches for the pattern. Okay. Okay, so this was the search here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find it and replace it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the system to find the pattern and replace it, okay? So for that, you have to type, no, actually you have to type colon, shift colon, bring that up. And for that, you have to type a percentage and a slash Linux. And then I'm going to change it with uppercase Linux. So what you see here is this part here. The percentage, you're saying percentage. You're invoking a search. And you're telling the system to search for Linux. Okay, and replace this with. So I'm telling the system to search for a pattern which is Linux and replace it. So you could get creative here if you want to add like the whole line, search for the whole line and replace it and all that. You could definitely do that. So what I'm going to do is we'll search the whole document for lowercase Linux and change it with uppercase Linux here, okay? But this is just an example. Whatever you want, it will do it for you. Okay, what is it say is not an editor command. What? Oh, I forgot to add. What you must be doing is a percentage and S as in Sam actually. And then type Linux and then replace with uppercase Linux. Now hit enter. Okay. So you see wherever the pattern Linux was there, it was changed. I did undo and it changes the last 3 changes, okay? Do you see the power of undo here? So now let's do it again. Percentage and S as in Sam and a slash Linux, and then I'm going to replace all the Linux with Red Hat, okay? So we have 3 places Linux here, right? NUX, line 1, line 2, and line 4. So when I hit enter here, wherever the pattern Linux is matching here, it will be gone. And replace. Search pattern and replace. Okay. So moment I hit enter, it will all be replaced with Red Hat. There you go. Okay, so %s Linux Okay, so this should be good here. Okay, so I'll leave it here. There are a lot of advanced commands in here, so I'm gonna just copy and paste it here. Those are some self-explanatory. You could try those on your own, okay? But these are the ones I'm using day in and day out. Let me find some commands for you. So I'm gonna put some commands from my last class. I'm not using this as crazy, but the ones you have here, I'm using it almost every day. And these ones, use these as needed, okay? So, I mean, I assume all these commands you're running on the colon, wherever the colon is, or as a, if not, then like for this example, if you want 2yy, wherever the cursor is, you type 2 and then push yy couple times, so it will copy 2 lines, these lines, okay? I would say just practice this couple times, you should be good. Okay, so, all right. What we're gonna do is, let's take a break here. We're gonna take a good 20-minute break here, okay? So, everybody be back here by 11:45, and then we'll continue on. Another good 45 minutes, or not, no. We'll continue until 12:30, or maybe a little longer. Okay, everybody be back in about 20 minutes or 22 minutes. Okay, I'm going to pause the recording here and then we'll continue on. Okay. Okay, so this is what we have here as the VI editor here. Okay, so what I'll do is today I'll make a separate over here. I'll make a separate menu here so that you could go into VI editor directly here. Okay, all right, but this will still be part of a main document. Any questions so far?
No, we're fine.
Okay. It's not very difficult here. Now you could see how things are building up, right? So we still have some more commands here. And let's see what's next here. Give me one moment. Okay, so let's concentrate on the cat command. We talked about the cat command, but officially I'm gonna say how the cat command works, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is cat. So I'm gonna get out of this. Okay, go ahead and save and exit, okay? If you do clear cat Linux, most of the time what you do is you use the cat command to read a file. But this is not good if you're reading the file. It has like a couple hundred lines in it. In that scenario, it's really not effective here, okay? So concatenate. So the cat, officially the cat stands for concatenate. That means it reads the reads the file and displays the output.
So how did he get that Zafar at server 01?
This one?
Yeah. Are we in VI
No.
Linux?
No, get out of the
Oh,
VI.
okay. Okay. So we have to how to just escape, right?
Yeah, escape X, shift colon X.
Explanation. So it's okay. Okay. So, but it's for me it's showing VI Linux.
Yeah. But yeah, because that's the command here. But you're on the next line. Just clear the screen, okay? Type clear and hit enter. It will clear the screen for you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so what we're gonna do is work a little bit on cat command. How the cat command works, and all that. So give me 1 second here. So what is happening here is most of the time you do cat and Linux, it reads what's inside the file here. Exactly. It will show you the lines and all that in the format. But instead of going inside the file, it just displays you on the screen here, okay? For example, if this file Linux has couple hundred lines, it will show you couple hundred lines here. So going through all that couple hundred lines on the screen here, it's not very effective here, okay? Because you may not be able to see everything, or it will just fly by so fast. So in that scenario, you could use VI editor. Okay, so now let's see here.
Sure, yeah.
Is this fun?
Yeah, it is.
So cool, like going.
Now, if you do cat, there is file 1 and file 2. Give me 1 second here. So if you have what the cat command does is, if you have 2 files, then it will read those 2 files for you. It could do that for you.
Go wake up, Maji. Get up, beta. Get
So
up.
if you do
School for you guys tomorrow.
can you go on mute, please? So if you do copy Linux and you're copying it to Linux 1 or Linux 2. Okay, now you have 2 files here. You copied Linux 1 to Linux 2 in the same directory. So you have 2 files here, right? So this is the copy of that file here. So what you could do is you could do cat Linux and Linux 2 simultaneously. So what will happen is the content of the both file will be displayed here. So this is Linux, this part here, and this part is the content of Linux 2 here. So don't worry about it. I don't use this as much, but just something you need to remember. If you could do 2 files, you think you could read 3 files simultaneously?
Yes, we should.
Yeah, very good. So we could do multiple files simultaneously, but then again, it depends how you're using it and all that here. Okay, so now there is a cat command here. Now, the very important topic now I'm going to talk about is the redirector. We'll tell you what a redirector is. Okay, so this is a concept here. You just have to understand what a redirector is. Okay, so there are 3 kinds of redirector. So redirect means you're redirecting the output somewhere else. So instead of displaying the output on the screen, what you could do is you could redirect it to another file here. So that's what is called redirector. Before that, let me put down what the redirector looks like. So we have 3 redirectors. So it has a number to it. 0, 1, 2. Okay, so 0 is called, it is represented with the symbol greater than sign. And 1, if I could type correctly, 1 is represented with a symbol greater than sign. Okay, so all these symbols are in here. You have to hold the shift key to bring the less than sign, and the shift key to bring in the greater than sign. Okay, everybody must be familiar with the less than and greater than sign, correct? Okay, good. Now the second one is 0, 1, and the third one is 2 greater than. Okay, so first is 0 is called standard input. Okay, and then the second one is called standard output. And the third one is called standard error. So error will be filter out. Captures the errors. Okay, so when you're doing PWD, right? This is a output. We have learned we have learned what is this is. This is output here, and the command PWD is
Input.
the input command here, right? So now when we do the cat, for the cat command, we need to tell the cat command to read a file. So what you're doing is we are doing 0 and greater than sign, I'm sorry, less than sign, and I'm saying Linux and hit enter. So what happened is you will see this output here. But earlier I showed you we didn't put in this here, right? We didn't put in this here. The reason being is in the new Linux it has been built in, but in the background it's actually doing that. If you were using Linux or Unix back in earlier than 1990s or 80s, you would have to put in something in here like this to read a file especially. Okay? Now what happened was over the years we are using it so much, what the system is doing is actually putting this symbol for you automatically without a headache. Okay, so this is called a first one we are learning this year. But day in and day out, you really don't have to do it on your own. So this is called standard input. Standard input redirector.
I have learned a little bit of COBOL way back in 95, 96.
Oh, okay. Is that
Yes,
what
I'm
does
just
it
trying.
remind you something
Yes,
like
I'm
this?
just trying to. Yes, yes. And I was
Yeah.
even learning that MS-DOS programming.
Yeah.
So
So
this was the standard features out there.
correct. Yeah. So you could relate that to in here. In fact,
Yes.
all those things that you could trace back to C language and all that, which is, by the way, all this is a Unix operating system. I'll tell you a little bit about history later on. I have a small topic of it. All these things you could trace back all these things to AT&T. You don't hear about technology coming out from AT&T as much, but
I
they were
regret
the
not
pioneers.
completing those things back those days.
Yeah, without AT&T, AT&T is actually not a new company. They started from Alexander Graham Bell, the person who invented telephone in late 1800s. So it's like more than 130 years old company, AT&T. So if you see a lot of inventions, uh, especially in technology, they have all the patents and everything, but unfortunately you don't hear about them doing any innovations and all that. But they are the one who came up with the Unix operating system, the C programming, and all that. And give me 1 second here. My internet is acting up here in a second. Give me 1 second here.
The inventors basically are doing a thankless job all around.
I'm sorry, what? Who?
The inventors are doing a thankless job. They just out of their own curiosity and they do
Yeah,
inventions better. It's basically a thankless job.
it is. I mean, the I think I forget his name here. He invented it and he left it alone, and they weren't able to make money off of it. So what they did is they just put it out in the public, and then that's how all these things are coming
The
uh,
public made
to
money.
fruition. Yeah. Okay, so let me reconnect my iPad here. Okay. Yeah, so here, what is happening here is the zero. Remember, there are 10 numbers, starts with 0 and ends with 9. Okay, number 10 is a combination of 1 and 0. So in reality, the cat is, um, it is putting a 0 and then the less than sign for you. Is automatically doing it for you without your without you telling it to do it. But if you want to do it, you could do that too. But remember, this part is unseen most of the time. But in reality, what is happening is cat 0 and then less than sign. What happens is it reads the file. And which file is reading in this case? Is reading the Linux. File name Linux. Uh, Technical term is input. It's taking the input from Linux and it's putting that on the screen here as output. Okay, so we are telling cat take the input from take the input from and take the input from the file Linux. So it's going there and grabbing what's inside Linux, and this is what it's displaying here is output. Okay, so whatever the content of the file Linux is, this is what the output is. Okay, simple as that. But each time you don't have to put 0 less than sign so that it remembers it for you. Okay, good. So I'm gonna put this here on the screen. Okay, so we got standard. Everybody clear about standard input, right? Now let's work on the standard output. So standard output. Okay, so standard output redirector, right? So standard output is actually 1 greater than. It would have been 1 greater than. And then the third one is 2 greater than. 0 greater than, 1 greater than, 0 less than, 1 greater than, and 2 greater than is errors. I'll show you how to capture the errors here, okay? Also, if you do cat and if you remove the 0, it's going to do the same thing. And then cat without anything is going to do the same thing too, because this thing can have built-in in itself now. This part has been built in itself. So you really don't have to do it anymore. Okay. So this part, not necessary to use this here.
For it to get built in, we have to first enter it one time, the zero less than.
No, you don't need to. I'm just showing you a little bit in the background here. Why is it doing it? All you have to do is cat, and in the background it's doing it for you.
Okay.
All you should do is cat, and then this is considered a standard input.
Okay.
Okay. Now I want to do is I have this here output here, right? I have Linux 2 here. Everybody, if you have Linux 2, go ahead and remove that Linux 2. All I want is just one file for now. And then I clear this, I do cat Linux, and I did this standard input here, and the output is here. Now what I want to do is, I don't want to see this output. I want to redirect this output into another file. This is where the standard output comes in. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do cat Linux, and then I'm gonna do 1 greater than sign, and I'm gonna do Red Hat. So what will happen is it will cat this, and then following this it will cat and display on the screen here. Now the system says, oh, instead of displaying on the screen here, The user told me to, user is telling me with the redirector arrow, it's telling me to put it in this file here. If the file doesn't exist, create one. Okay, so file Red Hat doesn't exist. What it's gonna do is gonna redirect whatever you have here is gonna go into this file. It will create the file if it's not already there. Okay.
Yeah, for me, everything got deleted because I was practicing something else. So I did RN minus RF. So it's not taking me in that.
You
I'm
deleted
not on the same
RF.
page.
You used asterisk too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't tell you to use asterisk. I just tell you to remove that specific file here. So go ahead and create a one file, and then you could put some 4 lines in there. Don't matter what you see on my screen, and then save and exit out of here. You could catch up. Okay, so what's gonna happen here is this part here. This is the output here for this file here, right? So this is gonna do the standard output here, but since you are doing the redirector here, is gonna catch the output and throw that output into this file here, Red Hat. Okay, so if the file is already there, it will override it. Okay. Writes to specified file. Okay, if the file doesn't exist, if the file doesn't exist, it will create one for you. And it will overwrite the file if the file is there. So if you have like a very important stuff in that file, it will overwrite it for you. Overwrite the content of the Linux file. Okay. Any questions before I move on? So I'm gonna hit enter, and then you will see the result. The result will not be shown on the screen here. It won't display here. It will go into the file name Red Hat.
You can take screenshots.
Yeah, it's showing me no write since last change. Add to overwrite it.
Yeah. So do cat Linux 1 greater than Red Hat. Well, did you went back and create that file since you have deleted those files?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so did you put any lines in there? 2 or 3 lines in there?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay, so what is the error? Can you put the picture in the group?
Yeah, sure.
If you do tree, the new file that we have created is coming up.
Hey, Mr. Zafar, this is Mirza.
Yes.
Hey, so this command, the cat with the 1 and greater than sign, is basically like the copy command, right? But in a
No.
different form?
No, 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 no.
When
No.
we did the CP Linux space Linux 2, it did the same thing essentially. It just created a Linux 2 folder for a file for us.
I'll
No,
tell you how it's
the
different here,
basic
okay?
thing here is that it is itself creating a new file instead of going with touch file and creating a
Yeah.
file and doing everything. It is basically creating a file of its own with whatever name we define, and it's copying the context of the
I,
file into the new file.
Yeah, that is true though. But in this scenario, Mirza, it's reading the entire file and then creating it here. At this moment, it does look like a copy command here, but it is not. Okay, it's not because the redirector is. I'm gonna show you how redirector is actually essential for you. In many ways, you can do the redirector to the file here. Okay, so now if you do ls here, you should have two files there. Now, if you do cat and then you do red hat, instead of displaying this here, it redirected into the file name red hat, and you see the similar content of this file into this file here. Okay, so at this moment it does look like a copy command, but I'll tell you how this is different a little later on. Okay.
Professor Zephyr.
Pro. Okay. What's up?
Yeah. So I did the same, but I did not put like the one, but I have the same result.
Yeah, similarly, when you're using one here, you don't have to use one. That is built in here. I'm coming there.
Okay.
So
Okay,
go
thank you.
ahead and do it without one and then give it to Red Hat 2. No, give it to, instead of Red Hat, give it to Oracle. Okay? In this case also, it's going to create the file, but it's going to throw that into Oracle
Oracle.
here.
did you see mine?
And then if you do cat Oracle, let me look at your picture here. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm gonna go in there. So why you have some content in that file, right?
Yes.
Okay, so push escape, press enter, type command to continue, right? Is it gone?
No. So I should like
What do you see on your screen right now?
I see this is Red Hat. We are learning Red Hat. Red Hat is fun. And
Okay,
when I type,
push escape couple times.
yeah, I did.
And do shift
And then I
colon X.
shift X.
Shift and colon, then put X and hit enter.
Okay, no write since last change. Bin bash q command not found. Shell return 127. I don't know. I did mess up something.
Okay, do this here. Do shift colon and do WQ and exclamation mark and hit enter.
Shift colon WQ
Yeah,
WQ then
exclamation,
enter.
exclamation,
Okay, exclamation.
and then hit enter.
Same thing.
Okay, all right. Who is this? Husna?
Yes.
I think, Professor, I made the same issue, but I use I press enter, then it works for me.
Okay, so yeah, do enter and see what happens.
It's just it's coming Husna server 01.
Okay, do ls there and see you have a file there.
Cat Linux.
You see the file there?
Yeah, it's Cat Linux.
Where do you get cat from? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and remove cat for you. Okay, good. Okay. Okay, you're good now. Go ahead and type this command, cat linux, then space, then either one or just a single greater than sign and give it to Red Hat and Oracle here. So when you do cat Oracle, so both things are in there.
Okay.
Okay, so everybody clear the screen. And everybody do ls-l. So everybody should have 3 lines, 3 files in there. Everybody with me?
Yes, sir, we did, but I have more than 5 because I
Good,
created
good. Don't worry about that.
5. Okay.
Just do ls-l. And what is this? What is this considered?
You got a file.
What? Who is this?
This comment. What do you say, sir?
Okay, what is ls-l is a command, right? And when you run the command, what is this considered?
The output.
Output. Output. Very good. So now what I'm going to do is ls-l. And then I'm going to give it a name common. Common. Can somebody tell me in last half hour we learned something? What is going to happen now? What does this thing do?
Will it make a directory with the 3 files?
No, what?
Will it put the 3 Linux, Oracle, and Red Hat into the common file that you're creating?
Okay, rephrase that again. You are on the right track. It will do what?
I'm thinking that the Linux, Oracle, and Red Hat will all 3 of those will go under common.
Not that, but use the correct term. What is this?
The output.
Yeah, the
This
output.
output.
Output. What is displayed here is going to go in a new file. The directory, those files are going to stay wherever they are. So right now there is no common file here. So the output, whatever is coming on the screen, is going to, instead of coming on the screen, is going to go into the file name common, okay?
Right.
There you go. It didn't display. Over here we did ls and it did display. Now, if you do cat common, there you go. In fact, it created a common and also captured that in a fraction of a second. And it did this. This file, common file, has this in there. So let's do the VI and common. There you go. The output is in there.
Okay.
Any questions?
Very good so far.
All right. So what happened here is here's the thing here. It's a redirector. Okay. It's a redirector. Whatever is going to come on the screen, standard output, we are using the redirector to throw that into the file. Okay, standard output, the output of Linux is coming on the screen here, right? But we are telling it to go, whatever is coming on the screen, put that into the file, Red Hat. And when we did the Red Hat, you could see the content of the output here. Then we did cat Linux and Oracle, it went into Red Hat here. So here, I'm gonna make a note here, there's no real need to add 1 in front of this. But here you do have to tell the system to redirect here. For standard input, you don't have to tell the system to use the symbol here because it automatically does it for you. It understands that that's what you are looking for. So now what I'm going to do is PWD and hit enter. Now I want to put everything into the common file here. I do double. Now this time I'm doing double here. If you do single, it will overwrite common file. Go ahead and do PWD common. So what I will do is whatever it has in this file here now at this moment, it will delete that and then it will put this in there. So you got to be careful with this command. So if you go into VI common, see only the output is there because that's what you told them. You just told them to override it. Override with the output here. But if you tell the system to don't overwrite it, but throw it in there, keeping the content here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do double. When I do double greater than sign, it will keep the content of the file and it will add it on the bottom lines.
A small question here.
There you go. It kept the, okay, go ahead. It kept whatever it had and then it added here another line.
The rewrite things, does it delete the original file?
It overwrites it. It overwrites it.
Okay.
In essential, it's actually doing deleting and writing it over. But if you do double greater than sign, then it keeps the content of the file and it will continue on adding it on the bottom of that line, bottom of that file.
Okay.
So if I do cat Linux and then I do double like that and I'm going to common, I'll hit enter. Nothing is going to display what's inside the Linux here, but at the same time is going to capture it and then throw that output instead of displaying on the screen is going to go into the common file here. Now you could see the common file is keep getting bigger. This is the output for PWD, this is the output for this, and this is the output for Linux. So now all this content is a part of a common file. Any questions?
So this is basically like a concept of adding additional thing to a
Redirect.
existing
It's
subject.
it's a concept of redirect. Whatever you see on the screen, you don't want to see it on the screen. You want to throw it in this file, and you want to email somebody. This is where it's going to come into the picture.
Okay. No, on a practical front, this is basically adding a content to an additional subject, or just copying the subject to a different area.
Yeah. So instead of seeing on the screen, you're just telling it. So you're telling the system to put this on a file, so that the file can be emailed or manipulated later on. Okay.
The term manipulation is like, are we playing into someone else's hand, or is it that
Like
directly?
you have so much here. Like for example, if you have like a big output here, right?
Uh-huh.
And you want to see, so we have, for example,
Basically, if I want to share something with you, I just cat it there and then put it into your account, into your thing.
yeah,
So if
that
you're
is
checking
true.
and they have to make some corrections, then you might go ahead and do that corrections.
Yeah,
I
using a
understand.
VI editor, you could do corrections. Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so in essence, what is happening here is, let me copy all this here.
Where does it come in a real time scenario? Where does this come fits in? Is it
It
like
fits in
anything?
every day of your Linux life. This is going to come in
Okay.
because you will be, you have a file here, then you're going to be doing this. You have about 100 servers are down, and all of them are giving, all of them, you have like an output, and then you need to know which server is failing. So you have like list of 100 servers, and in there you have like 10 servers failing. So what you're going to do is you're going to all those things are going to come into picture later. But say for example, you have a list of servers which are failing, and it's in a file. It tells you like, oh, this is failing. You go in there and you have the output, and then you're going to do some kind of search and then see which ones are failing or which one is giving error, and you find the pattern that way. Okay, so that's how you're going to use the VI editor and all your command skills. This is what is you're going to be getting paid for, your Linux skills here, okay? Because everything you're doing it is in a dark window, and there is no GUI, and the Linux operating system is free. So the only expense the company has is hiring the talent who has Linux. So a lot of people jump into Windows environment fearing that there's a dark window, you have to run the commands and all that. It's not a rocket science here. You just have to learn it, and then you have to find somebody who's going to teach you correctly. So based on that, you just follow the commands and run these commands, and a lot of other stuff you're going to run. Still, I would say you are just still learning the basics here. Okay, so just understand here. So you got the concept you're copying, but the redirector is actually whatever is you see on the screen here instead of your screen, is just throwing it on the outside in the file here. So all this circle back to the term we learned on the first day, what is input, what is output. So all these things is going to come into picture here. Okay? So output, it's coming, instead of coming on the screen, I'm capturing that output using the redirector and redirect it to the, so it's like, just imagine you have a mail coming in on your display. Instead of that, you're redirecting the mail to a different place. So that's what is happening here. Okay, simple as that. Let me do annotation here so that you get better understanding. So ls-l, this is what we did here. You would have expected this in the screen. Instead of that, we told the system, instead of showing me on the screen, put it in the file name common. Okay, and when you hit enter, nothing was displayed here. Over here, nothing, you see nothing there. It just went to next line. But instead, system what did was put all this content into the common file. Okay, and when we went in there, we saw this here. So when you do when we did pwd and a single greater than sign, it overrode whatever you had in there, because you didn't tell it to override. You just tell it to just throw in there. But now you're telling it to keep whatever you have in there and then add to the content of the file. So it added on the bottom of the file. So ls-l was added, keeping pwd, and ls-l was added to the file here. And then it will continue on as long as you wanted to play around with it. Okay, does it make sense now? Okay, good. Mirza, are you good? Okay.
Are we done with the class?
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap up here now. So another 2 minutes. And so this is the output here. So if I do vi common, and this is what it keep getting in here. This is the final output. So with that, I'm going to end today. So please, if you have any questions, use the chat and ask for the questions in there. If not, then we'll continue on next week. And once I'm done, I will put this online and I'll put you in let you know in the group, okay? And I think I'll give you the good amount of assignment also. But go ahead and work on the VI editor. Please play around with it. And if you have time, play around with the extra ones here. So just follow along and you will get the idea. Any questions now? If no questions, we're going to end here and then we'll catch up next week.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, everybody have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.